Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Um, hope you're having nice weather. We're having a awesome fall so far. Beautiful. Welcome to everyone here in the chat. How come I can't go back up? What's going on there now? Huh. Oh, there we go. Hi, Ginger. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being my mod. Sailor Moon, hi. I don't know if I've seen you here before. Thanks for being here. Betty, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. I think I've seen you here before. I don't have the greatest memory, but CB, hi. Thanks for coming back and thank you for becoming a member. I always feel very tickled pink when someone becomes a member, they give a star. Yeah, I puts a big grin on my face. So thank you very much. Um, Ariel, hi. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being here. Truth hurts sometimes. Yep, that is the truth. Thanks for being here. The Pond, hi. Thanks for coming back. So we're back onto Lily and Jack because, of course, there's some things going on here in this case, right? Sailor Moon. Probably not in the chat, but I haven't missed a live in a while now. Oh, well, thank you. I discovered you on a Crimimg Shame channel. Well, thank you. Thanks for watching. I wanted to be one of those people who buys memberships for others, but I don't see the option. Oh, maybe I have to check something off. After the live, I'll go in and check on how to do that, or if I have to click something or whatever, because I also want to give out free memberships. And I don't like this is all new to me, and it's a bit daunting for me because I have short-term memory issues, and I have to write a lot of stuff down when I figure it out. So, But, so when I go in to figure out how to give out memberships, because I think I might have 5 or 10 there that I can give out, I will check to see if there's something there I have to do. Hi, Infamous Kim, thanks for coming back. Yeah, no problem. And thanks, CB, for doing that. Yeah. I like doing that too when I'm in channels because you're kind of paying it forward and allowing other people to have a little bit of fun with a membership. So that's what I usually do too on other channels. Osprey, hi. Thanks for being here. Ben, thanks. Um, you probably have to turn on your ability to receive gifted memberships. Then it should appear, I think. I had the same issue once upon a time. Okay. Um, Mary, hi. Thanks for being here. Good morning to you wherever you are. It's after 2 p.m. here. So you're saying good morning. Now, where would you be? It can't be the UK. Maybe the States somewhere? Oh, well, I suppose you could be in Canada and BC, maybe. I think there's a 4 hour difference. How does gifting memberships work? Who pays after the first month? It's up to the person who is gifted the membership if they want to continue it. So it just kind of allows them to see what it's like, and if they want to, have continue it, it's up to them. So I do have some emojis there I did up for members, and I haven't done like members lives or anything like that yet because you have to kind of wait until you have enough members to be able to do that. And yeah, so and especially on this case, I don't really want to uh not I guess you have to kind of choose what you'd want to do for a members live. I like how Sunny just kind of does hers and just kind of has a fun night type thing, because you don't want to do that for cases like this, right? Because everybody should have this information. Um, yeah. Hi, Mary. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, pleasure. I know you told me the last time you were here. I think you said you're in the UK. Hi, Sue. Susie. Thanks for being here, everyone. Susie has a channel. It's called But First Coffee. And it's a great channel. It's kind of where I started with everything. Um, kids don't have the right to choose to make decisions type thing, in a fight against Scientology, and not just Scientology, something issues going on with how women are being treated. And in my earlier videos, I touched on some stuff there. And yeah, and Susie's pretty funny too. She's given me some good laughs, that's for sure. Yeah, so check out her channel, But First Coffee with Susie Holtz. Oh, the Pong, good point. I never even thought of that. Yeah. BC, okay. Yeah. Finding Solace, hi. Hope you're doing well. Charmaine, hi. Thanks for being here. Everybody knows who Charmaine is. And Charmaine has started her channel on YouTube. I wonder if I can still put it in there. Nope. Charmaine, I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. Will you type it and put it in the chat? So Charmaine covers crime as well. True crime story time with Charmaine and Bree. See, I didn't write it down, so it's not going to come to me. Okay. So let's get started here. Excuse me. The first thing I want to touch on is the vehicle being towed. And okay, so true crime story podcasts. That's it. Yeah. So check out Charmaine's channel as well, guys. And then Charmaine was the one who was able to get in on the media pass with the RCMP and the education session they had done there, which was awesome. And then she shared it with all of us, so it was great. Yeah. Uh, oh, okay. Cool. I didn't realize that because I've been listening to some of your videos. I did not realize that. Uh, Yeah, but and for anybody that doesn't know, that's Granny. Um, she did put another post out, so that kinda eased my mind. That eased my mind because I was really worried that something bad happened, and so that really eased my mind. Um, Hi, Bobby Joe. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I know, she's so sweet. She's so sweet, and I know what that's like with that the dizzy spells and that. I had went through that really bad too with my blood pressure and stuff like that. Man, that is wicked. And your ears are all messed up, and I had the buzzing in my ears. It's terrible. Susie, thank you. Thank you very much. Big smile again on my face. Thank you. And Charmaine, thanks for the I think you gifted 5 there one day, but then we ended up going over to Granny's, and I didn't see it until, after you were in the chat, so I didn't get to thank you at the time, but thank you, thank you. Um, Hi, Mike, thanks for being here. Um, so let's start off with the vehicle being towed. Hi, Kent. Thanks for being here. Um, Now, the thing with the vehicle being towed, I'm not a person that likes to compare cases because every case is different. But I want to talk about a case that we did have here locally. Um, oh my gosh, when did that happen? I'm pretty sure it was more than 5 years ago now. Uh, it was a bit ago. Um, and anyways, we had an abduction here in Pictou County. She was 19 years old. Her name was Amber Kerwin. She was a beautiful young girl just starting life, was accepted into the nursing program, had life planned out. Um, but at that age, her and her boyfriend, they're doing the stuff that kids do at that age, right? They're still kids. Um, so they had a party and at their home. After the party, a group of them went to a local pool hall here called Dooley's. Some of you have probably heard of it because it's was all throughout Canada. I don't even know if they still exist. They might, but the one here doesn't anymore because of what took place here. And then she left Julie. She was heading to a convenience store up the road, very, very short distance, minutes up the road, to meet her boyfriend who was going to pick her up. And he did not want to pick her up at the bar because the way things here uh, w- were then, what took place here when the bars were out, there tended to be trouble, and I'm sure that's probably everywhere, but there was always a fight or whatever, right? So the police were always around the front entrance when the bars got out. Honestly, after this took place, the whole bar scene here kind of, you know, went to the wayside. Yeah, it's not like it used to be, but it was the big scene around here back in the day as far as the bars, and there was a bar here in the town that I live in. Like it was the scene. I never went to those places. It wasn't my thing, but yeah, like it was a big thing back in the day. It was Pictou County was called Little LA because of the party scene and the bar scene and the rug scene and but that was the nickname that the police had for it, Little LA. But, anyways, so she was to meet him up at the store. He was drinking and doing some other stuff, admittedly, he admitted it, um, to the police. He was very honest and open. This is why I asked her to, walk up to the store. Um, so that's what took place, and you could see her on video coming out of the Doolies, walking up the road as far as the camera, could follow her. The police were right beside her, alongside of her, driving slow as she was walking up the road to go to this store. Um, and then they turned to go down another road, and she continued on straight forward. And the store, I mean, she almost would have been across the street from the store at that point. Like, she was very close to the store. However, um, she vanished. And um, the owner went through the cameras. She never showed up at the store. Now, this is a very, very, very short distance. I mean, all she had to do was, at that point, by the time the police had passed by her, all she had to do was pretty much cross the street and walk maybe 30 more feet, and the store was there. It did show him show up at the store, and he only stayed for like 1 minute and 40 seconds, which, of course, everybody was like, well, come on, if you're picking up your girlfriend, you're going to wait longer. Like, so much was questioned, right? And um, so he went through pretty much the same thing that Daniel's going through now, with eyes were on him big time. And um, it didn't look good. It did not look good, because he only stayed at the store for 1 minute and 40 seconds, and, of course, I was kinda like, "Well, no, if you're waiting for your girlfriend to show up at the store, you're waiting longer than that." But again, it would look very suspicious at 2 o'clock in the morning, a car sitting in this parking lot, and if the cops did drive by, they're pulling in, and he did not wanna get caught drinking and driving, and he had done some rugs, and he didn't want to get caught. And nobody in the world around here is thinking that because I'm going to sit here only for this amount of time, this is going to cause my girlfriend to be abducted. His mind his mind frame at that time was about not getting caught, uh breaking the law. So Anyways, I believe he circled around again, still didn't see her. He drove somebody home, because he did have somebody in the car with him. He drove them home, came back, she still wasn't at the store. Um, Anyways, so then he went home, uh, went to sleep, and then when he woke up in the morning, she hadn't come home, because he thought maybe she just went off with some friends. Um, so then the call was put in. Um, and long story short, he got blamed, and it went on very similar to what is going on with Daniel. He went on social media exactly like Daniel. Um, and his mother did too, exactly like Janie, very similar. And at that time, there really wasn't any YouTube channels like there is now covering cases. Um, I don't know what there was then, because I didn't watch a lot of YouTube, but it was more so Facebook. So I did follow that case, and I followed it on Facebook, and I had conversations with him. And, I was kind of the same as what's going on here with this case, is that I always say none of us know what really took place here. Um, and, hopefully the right people do, RCMP, or they will find out. They're certainly saying they're not giving up until they find out. So, um, so same idea, but then some of the things he started saying, you were kind of thinking, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. And I can remember one conversation I had with him. He had said about how he's sick and tired of the RCMP calling them all the time, and RCMP and municipal police worked on this case together, the major crime unit. Um, and which, by the way, my brother-in-law was on. He's retired now, and he worked for both. He worked for RCMP and then New Glasgow. So and it was him and another person who actually found her remains in a shallow grave. But anyways, so where was I at there? Yeah, so in the conversation, yeah, he said about how he's sick and tired of RCMP calling him, and because I mean they were at him big time, of course, right? They're doing their job, right? And um, I said, well, what do you do when they call? Because I'm thinking, well, she's missing. You want to answer your phone. You want to update. You want to know what's going on, right? You want to communicate with these people. And he said, oh, I block their number. I don't even pay attention to it. Well, their number comes in blocked. Yeah, he said their number comes in blocked, but he said, so now I just don't pay attention to any blocked numbers. That's what it was. I don't answer them. And I was thinking, oh, God, that's not good. When you have a loved one missing and you're claiming that you're doing all this to find them and you want them back, and you're trying to show you're innocent. What if that's a call, them saying we found her, or, like you don't want to break that communication. Like, it just did not sound good. And he had also talked past tense, which people picked up on. Anyways, so I do remember exactly to a T again. They had pulled him over, same as Daniel. Now, of course, you can tell by how I'm describing this young man. Mason was his name. He was much like Daniel as far as not really following the rules, right? Like drinking and driving under the influence of drugs behind the wheel. And so they were able to pull him over for a violation, same as Daniel, right? Well, of course, they did exactly the same thing they did to Daniel. There's no, hey, get that paperwork done and give the person a break and let them on their way. Because they're obviously, when a case like this is going on and everybody is kind of in the sights of law enforcement until they're, have something more definitive to send them in a certain direction, um, you know, they're going to take advantage of certain situations. So if you're not following the rules of the road and they're able to catch you on a violation, they're going to do it. So they did it to this young man as well, Mason. Same thing. I remember exactly where he was pulled over and everything and the whole thing, because he would come on Facebook and tell us everything. God love him. And he was innocent, by the way, if I haven't said that yet. So they did the same thing, and they confiscated his vehicle, whatever they did with it while they had it. Now, difference is the vehicle he had when she went missing, right? So that'd be less confusing to us who were following that case, because you would think, okay, well, they're obviously going to take a pretty good look in that vehicle. Now, this vehicle Daniel has that they got or took is a newer vehicle. I guess he got within the last month. So little difference there, but I kind of thought the same thing that DT said. Well, I guess, not saying any of this is true, because as I always say, none of us know what took place here. We do not know. But, in the minds of law enforcement who are doing everything to try to find these children, perhaps in their mind, they were thinking, they want to rule out that there was nothing transferred from point A to point B, I guess, right? Maybe. I know DT said that, and that was where my head went to exactly as well, right? And that's not saying that was done, but, law enforcement wouldn't be good at their job if they weren't checking on everything. And, so I asked my husband, he said the same thing as well. Like, well, maybe they have to rule that out, right? Welcome to everybody new coming into the chat. I see people coming in, but of course, I'm just chatting away here about what we're talking about here. Um, so, yeah. So, anyways, I will show you this, go over this article here. Uh, yeah, that poor guy. Man, he was put through the ringer. What a sin. Well, I guess I can't make that any bigger. I hope you guys can see that okay. That's him there. And that's when they were still searching for her at that point. And he was involved in everything. So this was they did the balloons and let all the balloons go for her, kind of similar what they did with Lily and Jack. And he showed up there just like Daniel showed up for Lily and Jack. Um, yeah, I don't know why it's kind of annoying me. I can't make this bigger. Uh, Anyways, yeah, so Mason Campbell, so the boyfriend of a missing 19-year-old Amber Kerwin, says the police are not investigating him in connection with her October 9th disappearance. And of course, he was saying the same thing that we hear Daniel say, right? Mason Campbell said the police have no interest in him, and he's confident he is not guilty of anything. And again, of course, everybody picked that apart, right? Um, I don't believe I am guilty. That was all picked apart. I can remember, right? I have a good long-term memory and I remember all of this. I don't believe I'm guilty of in any way, shape, or form, he said. The cops aren't looking at me. Campbell has stated publicly in the past that he went to meet Kerwin at Big Al's convenience store after she called him to pick her up. Police have released a videotape of her walking from the front of Dooley's downtown Glasgow towards the convenience store around 1:30 a.m. on October 9th. Sorry, I said 2. I guess it was 1:30. Al Sutherland, owner of Big Al's, said Kerwin isn't spotted on any of the 3 security cameras. So, the very short distance in between where the cops had turned down and then to where she would have been at that store where the cameras were. In between there on the right hand side, there's like a little open area and it's like a big power box thing in there. And that is where the guy that got her, and his name was Chris Faulkner, just released out of prison for already red rumming somebody else when he was 15 years old. I know Kent remembers all of this. And should never have been let out of prison. He was not out of prison for 6 months, and he did this. And what he did to her was horrific. So in between that short window is where he got her. So, oh, just disgusting. And then what you see the rest of the family go through as well. So what this monster created, took that beautiful girl's life who had the whole world ahead of her, had her life planned out. And not only that, but the mess that was left for the poor family to deal with, for this guy to be put through, plus on top of mourning, trying to mourn the loss of somebody he loved. Yeah, just terrible. Yeah, I don't believe I am guilty of anything in any shape or form. The cops aren't looking at me. What a sin. I think he was only like 19 or 20. Campbell has stated publicly in the past that he went to meet Kerwin at Big Al's in Glasgow towards the convenience store. Al Sutherland didn't see her on the camera, but said Campbell's car can be seen in his parking lot waiting for her for 1 minute and 40 seconds. And of course, that was turned into a big deal. Campbell's mother, Eva, and I guess you pronounce that Maria, a family friend who has been manning the volunteer search and awareness campaign. Now, the difference in her case, I do remember that police did not start a search for her right away. It was the community that did. And there was a lot of people that volunteered to search, and they did find some evidence and stuff as well. Volunteer search and awareness campaign from the West Side Recreation Center. Both said that Campbell had someone in the car with him when he went to meet Kerwin, and that person was with him afterwards when he was looking for her. Well, of course, it turned into that he was involved as well, right? And he was covering for Mason. Mason was with someone all night, and I met the fellow who was with him, and he was already spoken to by the police. Now, the person that ended up being with him was uh, the chief of police's son. So of course it all turned into, oh well, it's just a cover up, of course, right? I mean, that's the police chief's son, right? Uh, Leo Bowser and Campbell's car, which was seized by police on October 16th and was returned to him this past Sunday. So it was the same, very same idea, right? Very quick, seize, whatever it is. And they actually found stuff in his trunk of the car that, again, did not sound good at all. Like, like it was stuff that you would think that if someone unalived somebody, that was, okay, well, you would have that in the trunk. I can't remember the exact things, but I remember didn't look good. Constable Ken McDonald of the New Glasgow Police Service said police could not comment on Campbell's statement. And see, it's the same thing as with the RCMP. Like, they would never come out and say, um, yes, he's, that 100% saying he's cleared. And they didn't until they actually found who, they were steered in a certain direction of the guy that actually did abduct her, and they found her, and then they come out and said, he's cleared. Well, once they were on to Chris, they come out and said that he was cleared. And hopefully, if RCMP, um, end up on the right track here of something, that they will come out and use those exact words as well and say, like, these people are cleared, because they have not, said that yet. I never believed Mason was guilty, said Bowser. There was no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind, but there has been a lot of time wasted blaming Mason and not looking for Amber. And I mean, that's just police doing their job, right? Bowser said Campbell's heart is breaking over Kerwin's disappearance, and she believes he won't stop looking for her until she is found. I will say he was much more verbal about how he felt with, RCMP and the local police. Like, there's times I can tell with Daniel, he's frustrated with RCMP, but you can tell he's kind of holding back. This guy didn't. Like, he he was calling them mother bleepers, and like, he was quite verbal about, that he did not want them focused on him in any way or asking him any questions. Just go find who did this, who took her, and stop wasting time, type thing. Yeah, I would say to people, have you seen Mason and looked in that boy's eyes every day? Because if you had, you wouldn't think he was guilty. This boy is dying inside, and so are his parents. A child is missing in this community, and she's got to be found. And that was really, well, no, we had another case here, Lynn Oliver, years ago, and it's one of the cases I'm going to touch on. But I would have been so young then that I would have been a child. But for me, this is the first time I ever, you know, went through experiencing anything like this in our community, when this happened. And her parents actually lived one street over from me, and I worked with, you know, family members, and so it was bad. Um, Bowser said the number of volunteers visiting the center has gone down, but there are still people coming into the West Side Center looking for posters and green ribbons in hopes of keeping awareness about Kerwin's disappearance fresh in in the public's mind. I know people's lives have to go on, but this girl is still missing. Yeah, what a shame. She said even if people could take 10 minutes out of their day to grab some posters while they are walking their dog or download some from the internet and take some time to hand them out. Yeah. So that's that. Um, so uh, yeah, so I just wanted to share that because um, I heard they did, Rena girl. Yeah, I heard they did. Um, yeah. Had his car seized this week and claims it's unrelated. Yeah, so, um, and I mean, unrelated in the fact that did they find anything? And there's an issue with, something came about from his car being seized? Probably not, or they wouldn't have given it back. But is it unrelated in the sense that they're probably keeping a close eye on him and not just him, anybody in the circle of those children until they know? And I mean, it's sad, and I've said this many times that I feel until they locate the children, and maybe I'm wrong, this is just in my opinion and speculation, that in some cases it's the person missing themselves until they find the individual that's going to point them in a direction of which direction to go. And now maybe I'm wrong, right? But it just kind of seems like that with this case. Whereas the case that I just read about, they already had an idea of who they were looking at eventually. And they actually even arrested him before they found her remains. Um, and because he was just out of prison, and when they pulled him over, they found a bunch of stuff in his vehicle he shouldn't have had because he was still on parole. They were able to lock him up, but and hold him until they, they ended up finding her remains in that. But yeah, so I mean, unrelated in that sense that, they kind of took advantage of a situation. I would say that's probably what took place there, the same as what took place with Mason, because of their personalities, and they don't tend to follow the rules of the road. Yeah, so they made contact with him. Yes, good, good. Thanks, Kent, for the update. I read it on Facebook, but you can never confirm sometimes things, right, to be fact. They made contact with Serena Girl. He was safe. He had run away from a group home, yeah, and I read that that was the second time he did that as well. Um, Carla, hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks to anybody new that came in. Um, He was also driving without insurance. Well, yeah, possibly. Yeah, like, I can't remember how that all goes, but I know some to get one thing, you have to show you have the other, or you're not gonna be able to get it. Insurance is a big thing. They wanna see this, that, and the other thing, right? He was also driving without insurance the week they went missing, wasn't he? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. They didn't pull him over then. Uh but no HRD dogs then. Oh, yeah, I don't know if he was driving without insurance or not. Yeah. Nova, why do you say the quick seizing of Mason's car is similar to this case? Did they seize a car quickly back when Jack? I didn't. I don't remember saying quick seizing. I don't remember saying that. Nova, why did you say the quick seizing? Uh, of Mason's car is similar to this case. The only reason why I'm saying it's similar is that they their personalities are similar in the sense that they don't really follow the rules, right? They were able to pull Mason over for a violation, uh, um, the same as Daniel, right? Which makes it easy for them to be able to seize your car, right? It's not like, you know, if I've been pulled over and I go, oh, geez, that's out of date or whatever, they're going to give you a break, right? And say, okay, well, you need to get that done or you need to be to DMV by next week or whatever, right? Um, that's why I'm saying it's similar. And because they both have eyes on them due to missing people, right? With Mason, it was his girlfriend, and with Daniel, it's kids, right? And police are going to be doing their job, right? And if you kind of make it easy for them because you're not following the rules of the road, well, they're going to take advantage of that. Is what I'm saying is similar. However, you know, the end result with Mason was that he was innocent. But so what I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, there's guilt there of anything with Daniel. It's just the police doing their job because they're obviously watching everything. Like that's kind of like I disagree with DT when he says they're cleared. I don't believe that. That'd be very sloppy of RCMP to say anybody is cleared, and until they come right out and say that, as they did with this young man, I don't think anybody's cleared. And in my opinion, I believe it's the kids, unfortunately, unless they come upon something else that's going to send them in the direction of where to know where to go to look. And that's my opinion. Did they seize a car quickly back when Jack and Lily went missing? So yeah, if I said quick, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that, CB. Um, sorry, I thought you said quick regarding this case. Um, I hope I didn't. If I did, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get my words mixed up. I might have said that by mistake. Um, yeah. So you have 30 days to transfer your ownership and 72 hours to attach a plate and insurance. Yeah, because you have that paper thing in the window, right? If you purchased it off a lot, I guess. Um, yeah. So, anyways, so so two things there. Just showing that it's kind of similar in the sense of how the police do things around here, and I wouldn't say doesn't have to do with the fact with the case, but maybe in the sense it doesn't have anything to do with it that perhaps they didn't find anything of value or but that it would certainly show that they're checking everything, right? And I mean, they may have wanted to make sure as well because of the rumors with the whole rug thing, right? They might be kind of keeping an eye on that as well. Like who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah. Um and it's just a reminder as well of what that poor guy went through. Very similar to what Daniel's going through. Um and he was innocent, right? And we have to remember that. We do have to remember that. Yeah. Well, I guess he would have to answer that. Yeah. Yeah. Some people are just now this young man that I'm speaking of, Mason, he was younger, right? So that guy still has some growth to go on. Daniel's in his 30s now and has children and, so, you know, but to each their own, Uh yeah. He's got his vehicle back, so hopefully he'll get everything in order because guaranteed if he goes out and again, they're gonna take advantage of that again probably, or maybe not. Maybe once is enough, but, uh, get it road legal, Daniel, come on now. Yeah. Nova, can I ask you another probably done couple of questions because I seem to be always behind or out of the loop. Oh my God. Don't ever say dumb questions, but yeah, you got ask questions and like I'm so behind in the chat. I really it's hard to go back and get caught up and I know you guys know that anyways. Um, yeah. But if anybody has any questions right now, go ahead and ask them. I'll answer them, and then we'll move on to the prints and the blanket. Uh, yeah, I agree, Rena. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Their lives are ruined. Whether, yes, you would. Indeed, something you'll never, ever, ever get over. Right? Yeah, yeah. Well, that came from Darewood, and then uh, Belinda had stated that it was stated to her on the phone from Janie. Um, Now you know, believe what Belinda states. I don't see Belinda as someone who would say something that's untrue. But I would want to ask her again to confirm. Did she say that? Uh, because that was uh like ask Belinda, uh did you say that Janie said that just to make sure that we had that correct? Um yeah, because time has passed and it wasn't something that was recorded. Um it is not worth it because RCMP have drive-by scanners. Yeah. How do you know he got it back? No, but I know he was able to. But would he have the money to go get Oh, yeah, exactly, exactly. I was thinking that too, right, when that was stated because I was thinking, "Geez, I think, uh, you gotta pay for that," and the worst thing is if you don't have the money right then, I think each day it goes up and up as you're trying to get the money together. So, I mean, it really sucks to have that happen. I've never had it happen, but I wouldn't want to. The only time I one time when I was coming from Pictou from work, and that's when the carnival was going on, and that's usually when the officers are there around the roundabout, good opportunity to check vehicles. So I got off work, was going through, had my well, I mean, it was a newer car, it wasn't an old car, and was going through, and the officer kinda, they check your sticker and whatever and ask you if you're drink and drive and whatever, right? Obviously, I just got off work, I had my nursing uniform on, and, uh, and then he kinda gave me a dirty look and then went, "Go ahead," and I was like, "Jeez, what a jerk," right? So I got home, and I said to my husband, I said, "What an a-hole the officer was at the roundabout," I said, and I told him, and, I said, he checked the sticker and asked me if I was drinking and then, kinda gave me a dirty look and went, "Go ahead," and he was kinda snotty. And then my husband looks at me, and of course, I'm totally clueless. He goes, "Oh, yeah, let me go check your sticker on your windshield." So he goes out and he comes back and he goes, "Yeah, it's like a month outdated, right?" And the officer probably thought I knew and that I would know he was giving me a break, but I didn't even know that it was outdated because I don't think to check that stuff. My husband usually does it and he forgot. So he would usually check that stuff and tell me, "You gotta update your sticker." But anyways, here I was thinking he gave me a dirty well, he did give me a dirty look, but it was that look like, "Get it done," and then he let me go, right? But, yeah, here I was actually not cluing in. He was being pretty nice because he coulda charged me. Thanks at Nova. Strange that she said sorry to Darren, but I didn't hear anyone say, "Shh." Yeah, I know. She must have forgot she said that to Belinda. Yeah, when she had to backtrack. Yeah. And I always said that I felt like she was gonna tell a different story, and then she decided, "No, I'm not telling that story," right? And then what she did tell was probably closely more to the truth. Um, yeah, and could never understand why anyone would try to convince somebody to tell a different story in the case. Like, that's the whole thing that bothered me about this, where I started to kinda get upset because there's 2 missing kids. You don't start making up stories and trying to convince people to go along with a made up story and, um right? But in the end, she told the truth and said no, and that she wasn't at the end of the driveway at 6 o'clock, which I had called Darren out on Sunny's show on that. And, yeah, about that whole her at the end of the driveway and all that stuff, but yeah. Yeah, it's expensive and they can attach fines. Yeah, I would never want my car to end up in a impound, 'cause that's what I thought, that it was, expensive. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I always figured too, Ken. Yeah, so I know I wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Yeah, so you kinda see why I shared that case, and like I said, I hate comparing cases, but you can see, like, how the police kinda do things around here and how similar it is and how the public reacts to cases going on around here, and, uh Hi, Wendy. Hi, Nova. Watching this case from London, UK. After seeing the video of the area, I'm wondering if the children were trying to get to the step grandfather who apparently who was kind to them. It's possible. And the other possibility is to when I had first talked about this case, or when the case first started, um, I had talked about with children and elderly with dementia, it's very common for them to walk in a straight line distance. Um, and if you saw that road, uh, it's a straight line distance. like it is a straight line. So I could see once they saw that road, they would just keep walking and walking and walking on that road. Um, the thing I don't understand is the 3 footprints, and we're gonna take a look at that. Let's go over to that now, the footprints. That I don't understand. Um, I'll give you my thoughts on it, not saying that it's correct, uh, but I'll share my thoughts. Uh, and Kent, if you're still there, if you wanna come on and, go over the footprints and the blanket, both share our thoughts on that if you want. And Kent is from Pictou County as well, guys, the same as myself. Uh, yeah, so there's the picture. Hope you guys can see that okay. I probably well, I did crop it. I wish it would have come up bigger than that. And you can see that there's now, so I'll just share. So this came from the DT show, the Drunk Turkey show. Okay. And we're going to be looking at, we're going to look at the small, part of the video where Daniel's walking up to the tree because he actually shows the actual branch. So when we go over to show that, you'll see his channel. So I want to give credit to him there for sharing this information. And I want to give credit to Janie and Daniel for sharing the information as well, because it was Janie, I believe, that shared that with him, but it comes from a Nova Scotia Facebook site. And just one second. I'll put the link in there just in case you do want to come on, Kent. It's up to you. But I'll put it in there and just keep talking so I don't have to think about it. Yeah, so they shared that information with I'm just going to call him DT because his name's Daniel too, and I don't want to make it confusing. My son's name is Daniel too, so lots of Daniels going on here. For my mind. Yeah, so now it was stated that like these are not the actual prints. I mean that the picture of the prints that the police would have taken or the casts that they take of them, but it's to give you an idea that God, I wish, you know what, I'm going to save that as a picture and then I'm going to bring it up as the picture because you guys will be able to see it better. Because I want you to see it better. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. There, that's better. You guys should be able to see that better. Yeah, so I guess my thoughts are what they mean by it being, uh, a replica of what was there is that obviously there's barefoot. The prints in the middle are, uh, you can see them better. Um, Obviously a deeper print and uh, more of a tread on that boot. And then the one on the left, um, less of a tread and maybe a lighter footprint because children, especially light children, small children, um, don't really make a heavy print, right? In the dirt. So I'm wondering, um, if possible. Now, sorry, see me. I use speech to text. Uh, Ken, are you gonna come on? Because I'd love to hear your thoughts on these footprints as well. Or if there's anything that you have that you can share to if I'm going in the wrong direction here. Um, so I guess my thoughts are I'm wondering, and this is just what came to my head. Um, so the prints on the right, I'm wondering, possibly, and you guys share your thoughts as well. Could possibly be Jack's because, as Janie has stated, and Belinda has stated about Jack not really liking to keep a jacket or having boots on his feet. Um, or, did they possibly come off? So we know one of them was matched to the boots that Lily had, the size and the marking. So one of those is Lily's. Um, so I guess I can't. I'll just finish this thought. Um, so I guess my thinking is that the bear print could be Jack's. And by the way, Kent and I and Sunny all stated that we remember hearing that there was a bear print. And when it was stated, some people thought it meant there was a boot print by a bear print, like BEAR. We all took it as BARE. And then to come to find out there is a footprint plus a boot print plus another boot print. So, yeah, and then the one on the far left, I was thinking perhaps Lily's boot print. And I'll bring her boot up too so we can take a peek at it because they're just little girl rain boots. They don't look like they have a big heavy duty tread on them. And it's just a little girl, lightweight, wearing them. So would they make a very heavy print, right? And then the one in the middle, I'm wondering, would that be a heavier person who can make a bigger print due to weight, and possibly a bigger, thicker tread? And is it possible that that person in the middle had one child by the hand? So you have one person, just the way I would walk with my little kids when they were little, one on each side and holding their hand as I walk. So that's the first thought that came to my mind. I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are. Kent, where are you at with this?
Well, I'm hearing stuff
Okay.
that I'm trying to nail down, and right now it's only speculation.
Okay.
But I've got some feelers out to different people that have the official access to possibly ask the right questions.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I did hear is that there possibly could have been a field trip
Oh,
a
okay.
week or two before the kids went missing,
Okay.
and
But
that they went to the pipeline.
interesting. Um,
So,
but who would be barefoot though?
well, the barefoot, I automatically went back that almost every person that we heard someone say something about Jack,
Right,
whether it's the bus driver saying that if you didn't answer him, he'd
right,
take his boots off and throw them at you.
right.
Janie, if you're
Mm,
walking, that
yep,
he'd walk so far, and if he thought you weren't looking, he'd take his boots off and leave them
yep.
wherever he was at.
And that she'd have to call Malay and say he's got his jacket and his boots off again or whatever, right? Or he
So
didn't put his boots on. And
I'm thinking
and
that the barefoot could possibly be Jack's,
it just can't be a coincidence. And Belinda said something too about him with his boots.
right?
So, I mean, come on, right?
Then I think that that middle print looks to be more like the one that would be deep enough to get the impression, because one of those prints they were able to take a cast impression of because it states it in the documents.
Mm-hmm.
And when they took the impression, the number 29 came up
Yeah.
on the cast. And then they looked at Malaya's financial records and seen that she had bought a pair of boots at Walmart. So
Yeah.
they went to Walmart to buy the same type of boot. And sure enough, when they looked at the bottom of it, because Malaya said that Lily wore size 11, and when they looked at the size 11 rubber boot, it had the number 29 on the bottom of it.
Right.
So that's how they were able to turn that one.
Yeah.
So then the third set of prints, is it another kid
Right.
or
That's the thing. We don't know what size those it is,
or a
right?
small adult?
Yeah, exactly. Because I only
And
take
then
a
the
size
fact that
7.
if there was a field trip out there,
Uh-huh.
then and like we know that the pathway through there now looks quite different than what it would 2 weeks before the kids went missing in May. So we're talking mid-April.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it might mean something as far as the clump of blueprints go.
Yeah.
But if there
If
was
the
a field trip and they went to that area, I throw the blueprints out the window myself.
yeah, if the bear footprint wasn't there, and guys, as you can see, we're talking about a BARE print, right? Not BEAR, because that confusion happened in the beginning. Um,
Because even if it was the field trip, Jack could have took his boots off. Like, I don't know. We'd have to ask the
well,
teachers
yeah, were they
if
on
he
that
was like
field
that,
trip too?
right?
Huh. Yeah.
Like, was it one class? Was it the school?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Geez, you think they
Like,
would have
unless they
that
were
ruled out
going
by
and
now?
learning, unless they were going to learn about like everything starting to bud and
Mm-hmm.
bloom.
Spring, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why kids that young would be going on a field trip to the pipeline area.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you know what I
know.
mean? They wouldn't necessarily be learning, oh, well, gas pipelines run under the ground and this and that, like that young,
At that age, no.
right? So
No.
would have to do something with new growth, like
Yeah.
looking for new flowers, the pussy willows, buds on the trees, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Susie, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, there would be a lot more footprints for sure. Yeah.
But it, like,
I'm going with it has to do with this case because of the bear footprints. Like, I mean, that's just too coincidental. Just
the
too
grass
coincidental.
cover there, though, like, might not, like, the ground surface,
Yes, that might have just been
the
that one
whole width,
spot.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, and like I say, this is just could have been a bare spot of ground.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that when I was watching Michelle After Dark this morning, and she went into the documents of when they were talking about the blueprints,
Yeah.
and And I know from the I'm almost positive it was on Plunder's dispatch that, like, the family brung it to the attention of searchers, and then the searchers called in K9, the same as like they did when they pointed out the blanket.
Yep.
But they're saying that these footprints were found overnight into Saturday morning by searchers, by ground search and rescue. I don't think anybody of the family would have their kids. Like, I know there were some of them that had kids there,
Mm-hmm.
but would they have kids out there through the night? I can't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my own opinion. So then that brings it back to the case. But
Yeah.
the other thing she said is that the ground search and rescue dog led them to it.
Yeah, I do remember that Amy saying that it was the ground search and rescue dog that found it, and then they immediately called RCMP in with their dog, and they took over with their dog. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But it didn't but the dog didn't lead them. Well, I mean, they would say that
but they
anyways. They're not
said,
gonna tell us.
but all the other thing that I found that I'm hearing, like, I thought, like, I know the difference between live scent dogs and the human remains dogs,
Yeah.
but now the big topic seems to be that the two canine units that were here in May, they're live scent dogs, but they're not scent specific.
Right.
And Jane, and this is coming now, it's coming from Janie through DT,
Yeah, I
but
heard that this morning
she
when I
asked the
watched it.
trainer of the cadaver dogs, um, she said, "What's the difference?" Because when I went to get them some clothing
Right.
in May, uh, the trainer or the handler of the dog den said, "Oh no, we're just smelling scent in the air. They're air scenters rather than
They just,
lot
found
like
something
tracking."
unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
that's how the jacket and the shirt ended up on the car too, because she said,
yeah, well, that's what she said. She went to
"Yeah,
get those clothing things to give them to
yeah, well,
and then they didn't want them.
Cindy's partner,
Yeah.
is it
Wait.
Wade?
Yeah.
In that recording,
Mm-hmm.
he was suspicious about seeing Lily's jacket and shirt on top of the car. And I always said he said on, because I listened to that about 3 times and I have my really good headset on, and I knew he said on top of the car, but people were saying in the
There's
car.
one picture. There's one picture from all the pictures that were out there, um, from the news media, like
Yeah.
on TV, and I can't remember which one it was. But there's one picture where you can see the jacket and stuff laying on top of the car. I
Yeah.
just thought it was somebody, because Saturday was the first nice day that we had that whole week.
That's right. Yeah.
As far as not raining at all
Oh, it was
and fairly
beautiful.
nice in temperature.
Yeah, it
It
was
got up to
beautiful.
8 degrees or something.
It was my grandson's first birthday party. It was gorgeous out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
there's a lot more questions around the footprints now.
yes, yeah, but that answers that question about, because people were speculating about this Lily's jacket and shirt. So now we know that's why Janie was trying to use it to get the dog to be able to sniff out Lily, but it doesn't work that way. So then it ended up just being sat on top of the car. Yeah, and she was upset when she seen it sitting on top of the car because she couldn't understand why they
Can
weren't
I
using it.
address something
Yeah,
there for 1 second?
you go ahead.
Osprey, it's good of you to say that. But I seen a couple of your comments, and I sure do wish that if you want to know anything, I'm an open book. So, like, my number is 902-759-8077, and my email is kentcorvett81@gmail.com. Um, there was three things that I didn't appreciate that was in that live last night. Between the creator,
DTs?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
whatchamacallit went off on me. A
Who?
balance.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all. And there was a couple comments I wasn't impressed with either. And I just wish, like, as far as I'm concerned, I get nothing to hide. I'm trying to
Right.
help find the kids. And if anybody wants to know anything, my information is out there. If you want to get contact with me, I'll tell you whatever I can, the same as when I'm on these lives.
Yeah. Um, that yeah, that is not right, and that'll never happen on this channel. I've I make it clear that I will never tolerate that here. I mean, even if Daniel come in here, Jane, I wouldn't allow that. I just wouldn't allow it. I won't allow it.
No, but this was the
Um,
creator. It was
yeah,
instigated
yeah,
by the
that's
creator.
yeah, no, no, no. And I
So
mean, you have to lead by example, right? So if you make it known that this is how this works on this channel, then it won't happen in the chat either. And you might
yeah,
get the odd one, but then they're immediately blocked. I don't give
yeah.
1, 2 second, 3 chances
Well,
because
that's
we're
what
all
happened.
adults. We're all adults.
Somebody sent him an email stating fictional information. He read said email on air without releasing the person that wrote the email.
No.
I don't know what was it. Well, I didn't know what was said in the email, except everybody started messaging me and saying, do you see what A Balance is saying? Do you see? I said, no, I don't
Oh.
follow him. And then I
Yeah.
went in and he was just finishing up reading the email, and there was a couple comments. And of course, subscribers only can comment. So I had to wait 10 minutes before I could subscribe, or once I subscribed to comment. And I made one comment and he blocked me. And all I said is if these people want to talk about me, they should talk to me first. And that's why I got blocked. And then he started going in and laying on me even more. So it's
Yeah.
a very unprofessional
Yeah.
um, way to run a channel.
Mm.
And like I say, if anybody else has a problem or has questions, I'm an open book to answer them.
Yeah, like everybody Ken has done a lot uh for in regards to Lily and Jack. He's played a big role in the signs. He's local and he speaks on channels. He's come on mine. He's with Sunny and Charmaine all the time on It's a Crime and Shame. Great channel. Um, he's been nothing but awesome with this case. Um, yeah, that'll never happen here. I can promise you that. Hi, Belinda. Hi,
She was
darling.
having a question there. She
Uh,
said that on DT this week in her communications with DT, Belinda.
yeah.
And she said, because she said the other day when the cadaver dogs were there, she told DT that she went out to see if they needed clothing because when the dogs were here the first time, she said, I went to get them clothing and they didn't want it because they're air scenting looking for a different scent. And I've kind of found that to be strange because of all the different scents that would be there.
Yeah.
Like the whole family showed up to help search. So there would be a whole bunch of new and different senses.
Yeah, and then
The
he
dog must have been just scrambling in his head.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, really though. And then he said that then she found them sitting on top of the vehicle and was upset because she thought they should have been using them.
Yeah.
But I reflected back to Wade, what Wade said, and everybody was kind of, going on about that jacket and Lily's shirt. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, that answers that question, you know. Um, but Linda, do you recall the conversation you had with Janie? That she had said to you that she did hear Malaya saying shh in the backyard that morning, which we know now is not true, but none of that's true. But I'm just curious. I'm just trying to recall if because I thought that it came from Darren at first, and then that she had told you that as well. Um, Charmaine saying she's going to do a yeah, I think I'll do a live stream. I want to address some of this crap. Yeah. Well, I will be listening. Yeah, and everybody's got your back in here. All the comments are, pretty much with disgust that you were treated that way. Yeah. So, yeah. So they're sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I had no idea. I don't pay attention to a lot of that stuff, and if I am trying to listen to those channels just to see what information I can gather, and I start hearing any of that crap, I turn it off. It's a turn off for me. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't know why anybody would want to do that to somebody who's done nothing but positive things in regards to Lily and Jack being missing to try to get the word out there, and I don't get that. So that story never came out sooner, only since DT. Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Searcher said it is problematic because the dogs were looking for the freshest scent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are the dogs at Janie's and Daniel's if they have been cleared, according to YouTube creator? Well, that's where he and I differ in that opinion, right? I would never say they're cleared. Him and I had a pretty good discussion in his uh, comments section there. Civil, I think he's a great guy. You can tell he's a good guy, obviously, but he's got different thoughts. So on certain things, I agree with some things that he's saying, but some of it I'm just like, no, no, yeah. And in my opinion, they're not cleared. Nobody is until it's found out what happened with Lily and Jack, and if in the minds of them that there are some people that are cleared, well, I guess they haven't told us because I haven't heard them say those words about anybody. So,
But he's
um,
looking at it like, and and this is the only way that I can understand him thinking about that, is they're not cleared completely as suspects, but each step
yeah,
that they're doing,
is working
like
its way.
like they
Yeah, I agree.
cleared them on their phone, like finding any, as far as we know, like we ain't gonna know anyways,
No,
even if
God,
they
no, no,
did,
no.
right?
We
But
know how the RCMP work. That's why they can say they always get their man.
yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
get the information or any information, it seems like, off of their phone records or the Wi-Fi router records or their bank records. Like nothing that really stood out and was the bullet shot like to them, right? Then
yeah,
they did the lie detectors. Okay, well they passed. They say that they passed on the 4 questions that we know about,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean that there wasn't other questions. Now they're clearing them with um, human remains dogs.
Right.
But the only way, like if for anybody that didn't watch that presser that Charmaine was able to get recorded, that we could all see it, there was
Mhm.
very pertinent information in that,
Oh,
because
indeed.
they got
I
to get
know
these
what you're gonna say. I know exactly what you're gonna say, but I'll let you say it. You go ahead.
they got to get these dogs within the range of the right area of the smell that comes from the VOCs of decomposition.
Mhm.
So if the dogs don't hit on the property, that doesn't mean that nothing happened.
That's right. Yeah.
That just means that the property and the trailer should be, um, compared to the woods, they should be able to do a tight enough grid that if something happened on that property,
Yeah.
but this is the point, early enough, right?
Yeah.
The death, and Charmaine is the one that brought this to uh, because we had a big long discussion the other day about this, because I was just arguing that it just means that there's no hit of scent of death at the point of when the dogs are there. And but the property and the trailer should be the best area, and that's why I think they were there first, that we know of. They said they weren't going to do searches on the weekend, but I would bet my money that they did. And the only reason why they said they weren't going to be searching until next week was they didn't want looky-loos out driving around the county looking for them, see where they were, and report it on Facebook. So, but it just means that the death, if the kids are deceased, hadn't happened on the property. So, like Charmaine said, she said, Ken, that process that these human remain detection dogs, it starts happening like 5 to 10 minutes after death. But what if the kids were only unconscious when they left the property and their hearts were still beating?
Yeah.
That
It's
gives
yeah.
no way for the human remain detection dogs to pick up the scent.
Yeah. And guys, this is all just speculation and thoughts, right?
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
just, this is what they told us they needed.
Yeah,
Like
I
they got to
agree,
put the
Charmaine.
dogs in the proper area at the proper time
Yeah.
to, like, cuz and like yesterday, and I don't know if it's true or not, but
Just
last
give
night on DT they were
just
saying
give
about
a
rumors.
pause. Just give a pause there just for 1 second. I just so I
Yep.
can keep going down the chat. So Belinda said yes about the question that she does remember
Yeah.
uh that Janie said
Jamie
that.
said
And
that.
I mean, I wholeheartedly believe Belinda. And if you go back and watch my video about that, I totally picked up on the fact that Janie was going to go with a certain story and then made the right decision and didn't go with that story. I will give her credit there. And told a more factual story, hopefully, which I still think there's probably some questionable stuff in there, but just thank God she didn't go with this whole shh and 6 o'clock in the morning Malay at the driveway and all that crap. So yeah. So sorry, go ahead. So you said last night on the DT show.
Yeah, well, he was talking about oh,
You were
anyways,
saying
whatever.
about the dogs. You were saying about the dogs, and then you said last night on DT show.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that,
Oh,
but
I'm
they
sorry.
gotta be in the area to pick up the scent. So just because there was no scent on the property, then that becomes and gives me, in my mind, as I stated in the comments earlier, I said there's about 10 vehicles that if I was an investigator, I would have on my list as checking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's what I was talking about, CB. DT was talking about rumors
Yes, yeah.
possibly more dogs coming in. Well,
Yeah.
then I think that's one would be because of the amount of area that or places that they want to search.
Yeah, and maybe the
Um,
dog or the handler in PEI is back on, repaired.
well, no,
Amend.
I think that's, and with the PEI one, I think that they got word like last week or whatever that he wasn't going to be able to come for another month or two, and that's why
Oh,
they went,
okay.
and that's why they went west. I thought in my own mind, in my speculation, I think they were waiting for that dog to be available. Whether, and I don't know if it's the dog or the handler that's having a medical issue, but I think they got confirmation that last week that it was going to be a month or two before he could come.
Yeah.
So therefore, they went to the next available dog, which is from BC.
Yeah. I agree, Charmaine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think everybody would realize that there's one vehicle, well, no, two vehicles in particular. If these human remain dogs don't pick anything up on the property or in the trailer, there's two vehicles that I'd want to go next.
Yeah.
And those were the ones that we seen on the property with all the discussion about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Because they didn't carry them down the road to deceased.
Yeah.
They would have used something to transport them, right?
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. If anything nefarious took place.
Yeah.
Yeah. CB, how do we know it is true? How do we know it is true? What is even being said about the first two dogs, or the vehicle towing, or Daniel's license and registration, or these footprint drawings? Well, we don't. We don't, right?
Um,
I mean,
the dogs, well, DT showed video of the dogs in the door. One dog was in the dooryard. So, like, they wouldn't have him there if they weren't going to be working him. And he has video, like live video of another dog, the other dog parked down at the pink blanket location. So,
yes, they did. That's right. They did show the vehicles parked there. Yeah.
and
I
then
mean, I
Tuesday,
think it's we know the dogs are coming because RCMP told us. So I don't know if you missed all that CB, but RCMP did put a video, or Charmaine was at the presser, and um, she has a video on her channel, and they definitely are here. That's a definite, and they said they're going to be here for a few weeks, and so we know that. Now, it would only make sense, obviously, that they would search certain areas, which would be the property where the blanket is, where the footprints are, and then other places that I guess we wouldn't know of.
and the footprint drawing, that was the depiction of the footprint photo. Now, it's not the actual photo, but it's a depiction of the photo from Ground Search and Rescue, and that photo was located on the Maritime Happenings Facebook site when it was when the kids went missing. That's where the photo come from.
Yeah.
Um, and I can assure you, because my favorite saying is the horse's mouth. So the vehicle was towed from in town, uh, and from what I gather, it is for no registration, no insurance. He could have went and got the vehicle back on Tuesday, but I don't know if they went and got it back yet. I know somebody was in your chat when I said that earlier, and they said they drove by yesterday and it wasn't there.
I
Um,
agree,
but
Charmaine.
there's
Nothing like keeping you busy.
From when I towed, because I used to tow for the RCMP, and when we would tow somebody in for no insurance, there's two ways you get your vehicle back. You can have your vehicle towed to your place of residence if you pay the tow bill and storage fees, and that's why it has to be towed because you've got no insurance and registration on it. Or you can show up at the impound and with your proof of insurance and registration, and then you're able to drive it away.
Charmaine learned about it through sources, and then DT brought it to Daniel's attention, and Daniel did admit that his vehicle was pulled over due to a traffic violation, and it was impounded, just like the other fella that I just read the story about there.
Yep.
With when his girlfriend went missing, he was treated much the same.
Oh
Same.
yeah, people were all over him,
I
calling him
know.
everything, and
Poor
like
friggin' bugger.
he was fairly young at the time.
I think he was 19 or 20.
Yeah, like
It
you
was
know what I
sin.
mean.
Yeah.
And the big thing that everybody, all the locals, was using against him was, why did you only wait a minute and 40 seconds or whatever it
Right.
was that he was at the store to
Yeah.
pick up
Why?
your girlfriend? It's
Right.
your
Why?
fault. Like they were still blaming him,
Oh yeah. I know, right? Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like who would ever think like they're young, they're kids, they're worried about getting caught drinking and driving, not thinking my girlfriend's gonna get kidnapped, like come on, right? What a sin.
And I don't
That
even know.
friggin' monster, the mess that he created and all the lives taking hers and then the people in her life, like just disgraceful, disgusting.
And
Ugh.
it's kind of ironic. Do you remember another connecting fact from that case to this one?
Mm, well, just they were just rural. Um,
No, but from the situation where the first case happened and what that he was in jail for.
yes, yeah, yeah,
That it happened in Lansdowne.
yeah, yeah. I know. Weird, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
So
don't even
strange.
know how many people in Pictou County actually knew that he was even released at that time. It was a shocker that he was out of jail.
Yeah, and shouldn't have been.
No,
Man, oh man, what a disgrace. All right, shall we go over to the blanket? Uh,
throw it away.
I'm gonna have to download it first, so just give me 1 second. And I do have to run to the bathroom too, so I'll download the picture first, put it up on screen, and then I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, I'll
Uh,
talk to people about signs.
yeah, yes, please do.
There's a big update in signs. We have now 13, including one 4x4 signs that has been sent to Indian Brook First Nation Reservation. So there's a person down there that has been coming to get signs. And last night we delivered another 10 little ones. And so now there's 13 signs down that way, which is very good. Our delivery driver has, I think, 5 left out of the first order. And I've got 4. So I think we have a total of 9 or 10 signs out of 55 that we're still looking for homes for. If anybody wants one, we're selling them for $20 a piece. If you are in a high traffic location and not able to come up to $20, let us know. We'll take care of that there's been plenty of support from the online YouTube community of people sending money from further away. That is allowing us to not charge and put the signs out into particular high traffic areas is where we're trying to keep those supported ones. So once we finish getting rid of this order of 55, we'll do it the same as we did the first time around. We'll be taking people's names, and when we get up to 25 or 30 of them spoken to, then we'll create another order and turn them around in a day or two. And get another bunch out. Janice is done in Halifax tomorrow. So our plan for the online auction is to be ready by hopefully the end of next week. And we'll put the different allotments on Facebook. And you bid on the lot. It'll have a picture of the stuff as well of a list that's in it. Truck stops are great, Seawood, if you have personal connections. Don't matter where we put them. We have the paperwork to put them along highways. We're still working on that. Christine Henrig has started that. So we have the paperwork, and I'm not sure if we got it submitted yet or not, but then that would allow us to put some along the highways too. But
yeah. I have to refresh this page because my computer's telling me to. So I have to hit the refresh. So just give me 1 second here. And it might disconnect you. If it does, just come back and I'll let you in. Hi. You're still
yep.
there, but I don't know what happened to my picture, but I don't know why it does that. But anyways, I didn't want it to shut down. Okay, I got to bring that picture back up now. So your feelings are that the blanket was planted.
Well, it got there by somebody. Somebody put it there. You ain't going to convince me that the wind blew it there
Oh no, no,
and
no,
put it up in a
definitely.
tree.
No, definitely somebody put it there. But
Yeah.
I guess the thought hit me that because I didn't want to always go with oh, it was planted and that's it, because and when I don't 100% know something for sure, I guess my brain just won't accept it, because I always thought, well, it could have been planted, but it also could have been somebody trying to get rid of stuff, right? And that they tossed it, because we were having pretty high winds then in gusts. I actually looked at the weather on that day, and the gusts were up to 20. And
But that was that night, right? The high wind was that night. The blanket was found the first day.
yeah, well, this is the day on the 2nd.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like right now, the weather's beautiful out. It's still, there's a little bit of a breeze, but there was winds.
Yeah.
And I had just wondered, another scenario is someone's trying to get rid of stuff, and if they had tossed it even from a vehicle and was trying to get rid of it, and if the gust got a hold of it, and instead of it landing down
But
on
that's
the
still
bottom.
somebody putting it there,
Oh, absolutely. Oh, somebody
right?
definitely put it there. It did not blow there
Because,
from the property, and a bear didn't take it either.
yeah, if
Uh,
if it was in the garbage can, if that piece, as the other piece was in the garbage can, it didn't get out of the garbage can by itself,
nope.
and or if this piece was hanging on the back railing, as some of the family members stated, then it didn't get from the back railing 1.6 kilometers down the road and up in a tree by
No,
itself.
absolutely not. No.
Now, do I believe that it was planted there to
Distract.
distract, and or do I believe it was planted to like point in this direction? Like whatever one you're reasoning of the believe, I can't say that. I don't know why, other than the most probable cause to me would be for distraction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is where, like, DT is still on the operation of them walking in the woods and or wandering into the woods.
Yeah.
And that, or wandering, not even wandering in the woods, but wandering down the roadway themselves. And the roadway or the side of the road there is only like 2 feet wide. So I think that um, any kid that would be walking down that road, a part of it has the guardrail, as we've seen in the number of videos that have come out in the last few days. Part of it has a guardrail along there. So if I'm a kid walking down the road in the morning, I'm going to be dragging my hand along the guardrail, right?
Yeah.
So then it's more
Is that on
likely,
Garlock Road, you mean, that there's a guardrail?
yeah,
Oh,
on the
okay. Yeah.
Garlock Road,
Gotcha. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then that would mean that there'd be more possibility, at least, of the scent dogs being able to pick up the smell, because there'd be some other surface rather than them just walking along the road. But like
Right.
there's grass, like, and I know the grass wouldn't be growing up as we're seeing now back in the 1st of April or the middle of April
Oh,
and 1st of May.
definitely
But
not.
um so that's that. And then as far as them wandering in the woods, with all the statements that people don't like, Jack don't like walking very far at a time, then
Yeah.
it almost makes it impossible for me to believe that these kids wandered in the woods, got lost, laid down under a tree because of whatever, they were cold or whatever,
So
and
as you're speaking about that, continue. I'm gonna go through some pictures that people can look at as you're speaking about the woods, at what the
yeah,
woods look like here. I took the pictures as Janie was driving to show you what the woods look like. So go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. And if they crawled under, like, because some people say they might be wandering and just missed in the search, but if they wandered into the woods, crawled up underneath of a tree, and stayed there and passed of natural causes in the woods, well, there's three things that I don't think that makes that possible. One is the searchers and the dogs and stuff and everything there was so quick because they came from the other search. So they don't matter how far you think they could have got in the time frame, the searchers wouldn't have been that far behind them to
Right.
the flare infrared was picking up heat signals from rocks on the ground covered in moss as being a warmer temperature and
Mhm.
being a target to check
I remember that.
compared to ground temperature. So, and there was one helicopter and the drones. The other two helicopters stayed on the other search and didn't come till Saturday. But there was one helicopter and the drones that got up Friday afternoon. And the flare, if it was picking up rocks covered in moss, you tried to convince me that these children passed away underneath of a tree and their body temperature cooled down fast enough to evade a detection from the flare.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Not
And
likely.
three, if an animal, if they got cornered by an animal and attacked, then that would have created a scene of some sort. And we all know that if they say that you're in a bear attack, the best thing to do is to curl up in the fetal position and play dead because they don't like, well, and I can't say they don't like, but we're told that bears don't like their food to be dead. They'd rather it be eaten like live, like the always story said is play dead, like sort of
Right.
if you're attacked by a bear. Well,
Mhm.
there's reasoning for that.
Yeah.
Because if you play dead and stop moving, then they lose interest and they
Yeah.
leave you there.
Hopefully, yeah. Our I don't know, they would have had minimum 3-hour head start searches. I don't know if it would have been 3 hours because if Janie heard them when she stated she did, um, and by the time Daniel started to go out and look, like if you go
But
by
searchers,
that,
they
him searching
would have been about 3 hours probably ahead of
for
the drones
searchers.
and helicopters.
Yes, agreed.
But
But as far as
searchers were, I think, heading out by 11:30 because most family was there to go searching by 11 or 11:30.
yeah, and if it's correct, if Daniel stating he went out as, at the time he did, that would have been around
Yeah, he
50
went right away in
minutes.
that 20 minutes.
Right. So that
But
would have
that was
been,
just the property and up around their forts or whatever you want to call them. But
yeah. Well, he went down the road too
well,
because
yeah,
remember
yeah,
Janie
to
said
check the
she was
culverts and
wondering
stuff.
why he
But
would go way down the road. Yeah.
yeah,
Um so but the searchers themselves, yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Uh
but so all three of those things, you tell me that the children were able to evade.
yeah.
I'm not buying it.
No.
And the flare is the biggest one. When that flare unit, because I was listening to the audio that Plunder had, and it was right in there on the dispatch audio.
Yeah, oh
When
yeah,
they
I heard it. Yeah, yeah, I
when they
remember that. That's a
deployed,
big thing for me too.
yeah, when that flare unit deployed searchers to waypoints, GPS location, and when those searchers got there and radioed back in, you found us a rock covered in moss. That was my first belief that the kids weren't going to be in the woods.
Mm. Yeah. The chat is saying that the black bears fight back. It's the grizzlies you got to lay down for and cover your head.
Okay, well,
My
they'd eat me either way then because I wouldn't be able to run from them, and they'd have lots to eat. But
Yeah,
the
but
other
they
thing that would
don't
be good with
usually
me,
tend to bother you. I mean, it's not uncommon to have bears in your yard, guys, and I live in town and there's bears still that come in town and get in the yard. But my mother-in-law or my mother and my stepfather, they have the cameras in their yard too. Now they live up on the mountain, and there's bears on the camera all the time, and deer and whatever other animals. That's typical. But I mean, if you have kids in your house, you want to keep your kids safe in the house, not stop the bear from getting in the house. just putting that out there. Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
But
you want to
how many,
protect
like
your kids.
for the amount of bears that we have,
Mhm.
um, like I don't know if I've ever heard, like in Pictou County, I know there's been a couple in Cape Breton, up in the mountains, but I can't remember when
In my lifetime, I've never heard
of
of
a black
one.
bear attack.
No,
Like,
I've heard of the coyotes, and
yes, the
that's
coyotes
rare,
will,
but it's happened. But I'd be more afraid of a coyote than a bear.
especially our coyotes, because they're
Yep,
getting driven
and they're friggin'
closer and closer to town all
huge.
the time.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna just bring up that DT video too to show Daniel touching the tree. I do have the picture. I'll show the couple of pictures there too that from Janie's video. But when Janie had shown the tree, she showed the right tree, but the branch was wrong. Um, do you see that little guy? He's a pup. And he was rejected from RCMP school. He was rejected. He wasn't doing well in sniffer school. So yeah. Now, so that's the pipeline. That is where the boot print was found. That is the other side. On the other side of the road. That's how long that road is. Wowzers. So that's near where the pipeline is, and then you go further down to where the boot print was found. Or sorry, the boot print, and then you go further down to where the blanket was found, which is on this old road. And now Janie's calling it the old road, and I wondered if that was the old road that she said they found Daniel on when her and Justin went down there. And that is the tree. And then I'll bring up the video from DT. There's a question there for you. There's a question for you on the screen there. You still there?
Yeah, I'm reading it.
Oh, sorry.
CB, the weather before, as Nova stated, all week, like, and this was the other big thing that I don't understand, and until I seen the photos of the driveway. We had rain, not heavy rain, but rain on and off all that week. It was chilly. It would rain, drizzle. The morning of May 2nd, Friday, it was foggy, 3 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. And this is what I was explaining one night on when we were talking about Janie raking the gravel for the pool or whatever she was raking it for. For that spot to be raked, now I know everybody says now that she was raking to cover up tracks, but if you look at the rest of the driveway, it's crusher dust, or that's what we call it out here in the Maritimes. And it's fine gravels, usually a quarter to a half an inch or smaller, mixed with sands from crushing the rock. That's what the rest of that, and that was so hard, and that packs, and it doesn't really Like if you step on the ground, if you step in mud, but that crusher dust, why most people use it to top coat their driveway, is it packs and it almost doesn't leave prints. The only reason why they were able to find the boot print on the driveway was because Janie raked that brown, we call it bank gravel, down onto the driveway to fill the pothole. To whether she was leveling the driveway out for a full, I don't know none of that stuff. Never been on the property, but I know that. And the thing that makes me think about that is we know that it was wet all week, and even Friday night it poured,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of people that was on that driveway Saturday morning from family and stuff. Normally, if that was a bank gravel driveway, there would be mud there galore.
Yeah.
But because it was the crusher dust type gravel, it's almost as hard packed as what pavement is. And I found it ironic that there was no footprints on the rest of the driveway, even in the fine sediment that comes to the top over time. But the only place that they actually got a boot print or prints was the spot where Janie took the gravel from the bank. So if she was trying to cover up tracks, all she did was create something that was going to leave the track
True.
compared to what was already there.
Yep.
And the backyard, okay, yes, it's all grass, but as wet as it was, because it was a very wet spring, right, Nova? Like,
Oh my God, it was
and
unreal. It
it
didn't
hadn't warmed
stop.
up yet at all,
No, it was
right?
cold. It was
And that was
cold.
another thing. You couldn't tell me that you couldn't distinguish a footprint impression on the back lawn.
Yeah.
And yes, Reno girl, that's another thing. That's why we were saying that if the blanket was there Friday and if it was just blowing into the tree, it wouldn't have stayed there. Friday night it poured. That blanket would have
Mm-hmm.
been soaked
Yeah.
if it wouldn't have been found until Saturday morning. And it
Right.
would have been so heavy that even though it's a light blanket, but I don't know if anybody or how many actually seen the good picture of it. But if you get a good, Sunny has one good one, and
Oh,
we were
well,
confused.
I have that one here. I can bring it
Do
up.
you?
Yeah.
You
The
can
one that I just
almost see.
showed was from Sunny's, but I cropped it to pull it up closer
Yeah,
because, of course, when you're trying to take pictures off of somebody else's show,
yeah.
they come up
But
smaller.
if you look at it closely, you can almost see it's sort of. I don't want to say it's tied, but you know when you're walking and you have a sweatshirt on and you take it off and you tie the arms around your waist,
Yep.
it definitely looks like that blanket is
There.
wrapped around that tree branch
Yeah, it's on the
like
screen
that.
right now. I've had it up for a while. Yeah.
And that's why I say the blanket had to be put there,
It's either wrapped that way or it's doubled over and then
wrapped
around the
around it like
branch,
a candy
which
cane.
right, which again still is not, like, come on, right?
It's still not going to get there by itself. It
No.
had to be put there.
Oh,
So,
100%. Steve, we're just
that's where
saying,
I switched my wording from plant it, because
yeah,
plant it suggests that you think it has something to do with the case.
yeah,
But I think it's been put there as a distraction factor,
yeah,
and take it and throw it out the window,
yeah.
because
Either
I don't
way,
think. Now, the only way that I would be interested in the blanket is the DNA testing,
yes,
as
and we're
I
all
stated
waiting
before.
on that. Yeah.
if they were to find a unknown DNA source on the blanket, then I want to know that DNA source
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because that's my first suspect of who put it there.
Oh, absolutely. So Seawood, were the footprints near where Jay and Jay, so Janie and Justin picked up T? No, I think it is where the blanket is because Janie
Yeah,
calls that road the old road, and that's where she said they had found Daniel. And Cheryl, what are people thinking about the prints planted or not? I do not believe they're planted.
yeah, I
No,
don't
you
know
you
how
can't you can't plant footprints, right?
not
Uh,
to look that good.
no, I mean that. Yeah, that's
Have
what
it.
makes me now think they're not planted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just got one more thing I want to say there because my mother's hollering
You go
supper's
right
ready.
ahead. Yep.
AI Henry, you were looking for signs in Ontario. The best thing I can do
Oh, nice.
is contact me and I will send you the PDF. It's a print ready file because we've already looked into it, shipping them anywhere further than New Brunswick. You can get them made locally probably for as much as you're going to pay to ship them to you from here. So I have been sharing the PDF with people in BC and stuff. So if you contact me on any one of the methods or my Facebook, I will make sure to be able to send you the PDF file to take to a local print shop. Just tell them you want a coroplast sign. That's what the material's called.
Wow,
So,
that's nice.
alrighty. Anyways, folks, nice
All
talking to
right.
you. Have
I'm
a
only
great
gonna
day.
play this video and then I gotta head out too because my hubby and I'll be eating supper too. Thanks for coming on as usual. Always a pleasure.
My
And
phone number
ignore the
is,
nasty ones.
yeah. Phone number is 902-759-8077. Facebook is Kent Corbett. Oh, you don't have Facebook. Or my email is kentcorbett81, the number, at gmail.com. So I'll put that in the chat and then I'll drop out, Nova.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Okay, thanks a lot for coming on.
Yep.
Take care. Okay, guys, I'm going to play this video. It's just a small clip of Daniel showing where the blanket is. Bye, Charmaine. Take care. Lots of love. And if you do a live, I'll be watching. I'll say hi in the chat. Um, and yeah, so we'll play this quick clip. Just a very, it's showing him get out of the car, go over, and he's just going to touch the branch of where the blanket is. And then that's it. And then I will say goodbye. I'll show some pictures of some cases that still need to be solved at the end if you guys want to stay and finish up your chat. So it'll give you an extra maybe 6 minutes. And then I'll close the chat out.
Maybe not even. Yeah, a little more than 15 feet. And this is the exact branch. So way higher than 5 feet in the air. It's actually over my head, so it's already 6 feet.
Yeah. No
That
kid
one right
did
there.
that, I don't
It's draped
think.
over that branch.
So 6 feet in the air, draped over the branch. It's pretty dense right there.
Yeah. And that is the, if I just type in DT show in YouTube and that comes up. Like I said, I don't 100% agree with everything he has to say. He does have some good points. Um, but you know, not everybody has the same opinions, and that's fine. All right, guys. I will. That is so crazy how my picture disappears like that. I'll put some of the posters up of some cases here in Nova Scotia, plus the Canada's baby doe. Lots of love to you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks so much. Thanks to those who purchased memberships. And thanks to you all for spending 2 hours with me today. That's wonderful. Lots of love to you all. Lots of positive vibes, and take care.